Imagine standing amidst the awe-inspiring grandeur of the Himalayan peaks, bathed in that soft, golden light of dawn. Now, imagine doing that without needing to be like an Olympic athlete or even a seasoned mountaineer, just a genuinely accessible trek, offering incredible views and, well, surprisingly comfortable stops along the way. Sounds pretty idyllic, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and that's precisely what we're going to illuminate for you today. Our subject is A Guide to the Poon Hill Trek in Nepal. And this look into a classic Himalayan experience is based on a really comprehensive trekking guide written by David Weiss. He's a truly renowned Nepal guidebook author.
Right.
And what's fundamentally important to understand about the Poon Hill Trek, right from the outset, is its core appeal. It's widely considered a relatively easy trek, boasting consistently good accommodation and convenient facilities throughout the entire route. It really sets itself apart in that regard.
Okay, so our mission today is basically to equip you with all the essential insights, all the practical knowledge distilled from David Wei's expert guidance. We're aiming to give you a true shortcut to understanding this incredibly popular route, whether you're, actively planning your own journey to Nepal, or maybe just satisfying that insatiable curiosity about some of the world's most stunning and accessible landscapes. We'll cover everything you need to know, really, from preparation to what to expect on the trail itself.
Okay, let's start by maybe demystifying the name itself. You often hear it called the Gorapani Poon Hill Trek. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But the reasoning is quite simple, and it speaks to the very heart of the trek's design.
Exactly. Gorapani is the vital trekking village that serves as your base. It's strategically located right next to Poon Hill. It's the place where trekkers typically spend the night before making that, well, exhilarating pre-dawn ascent to Poon Hill itself, all in pursuit of those iconic sunrise views that have captivated so many.
And Gorapani, the village, it has its own history, too. Oh, definitely. It carries its own rich history and significance. Its name, fascinatingly, literally means horse water. Gor translates to horses, and Pani means water. This name isn't just, a quaint descriptor. It highlights its traditional role as a crucial water source and a bustling hub where horse traders would stop, rest, and water their livestock on their long journeys across the region. The trek itself is remarkably adaptable, which is a major part of its broad appeal. Depending on your personal preferences, your pace, and how much time you have, you can comfortably complete it anywhere between 3 to 5 days.
3 to 5 days, okay. That's quite flexible.
Huge advantage, yeah, for various types of travelers. Furthermore, a significant draw, especially for those who might be new to high-altitude environments or maybe concerned about altitude sickness, is its relatively low maximum altitude. The very summit of Poon Hill reaches 3,210 meters, which is approximately 10,531.5 feet.
Which isn't that high in Himalayan terms, right?
Not at all, relatively speaking. Yeah. But perhaps even more reassuring is that your highest sleeping point along the entire route, which is Gorapani village, sits at an even lower elevation of just 2,874 meters, or 9,429 feet. This carefully planned elevation profile significantly reduces any real risk of altitude sickness, making it a remarkably accessible option for a remarkably wide range of trekkers, from seasoned hikers to families with young children even.
That's a really key point. And you mentioned David Wei's guide. One thing he stresses is keeping things up to date. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the standout qualities he consistently emphasizes, his unwavering commitment to keeping his information meticulously up to date. In our fast-paced world where online sources, especially for travel, can become obsolete almost overnight, particularly with, ever-evolving regulations and local conditions, having a guide that is rigorously reviewed and updated like his is absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, you can't rely on some random blog post from 5 years ago.
Exactly. It stands in stark contrast to much of the general online information you might stumble upon, which could very well be giving you outdated advice, leading to potential frustrations or even complications on your journey. He also makes a very important clarification regarding the maps you might glimpse on his website or in quick overviews.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
They're intended purely for general outline and conceptual understanding. Just to give you an idea, if you're serious about planning and navigating your trek on the ground, you'll need the highly detailed practical trekking maps that are carefully embedded within his comprehensive guidebooks. Those are your true navigational tools.
Got it. So the website maps are for overview, the guidebook maps are for actually trekking.
Precisely. Now, to give you a truly concise yet comprehensive snapshot of what to expect from the Poon Hill Trek, let's look at the key factual points that really define this experience. First, difficulty. It's firmly classified as easy. Now, while easy is always relative to an individual's fitness, it's genuinely one of the less demanding Himalayan treks.
Okay. Easy, but not effortless, I imagine.
Right. Duration. As we discussed, it's highly flexible, typically ranging from 3 to 5 days, allowing you to tailor it to your schedule. Maximum altitude. You'll ascend to 3,210 meters at the Poon Hill summit itself. That's the highest point you'll walk to. Approximate distance. For a standard return trek, you're looking at about 55 kilometers, which is roughly 34.20 miles. It's worth noting this can vary slightly if you decide to explore any intriguing sidetracks.
55 kilometers over 3 to 5 days.
Yep.
Manageable.
Yeah. Accommodation. Throughout the route, you'll be staying in comfortable lodges or hotels, which are affectionately and commonly referred to as tea houses. These are local guest houses, usually family-run, providing both a bed for the night and hearty hot meals. And finally, a crucial regulation update. It's absolutely vital to mention a significant change that was mandated in March 2023 by the Nepal Tourism Board.
Oh, this is important. What changed?
A licensed trekking guide is now mandatory for all trekkers in Nepal, regardless of your group size. This means that independent trekking, which used to be a popular option for this route, is no longer legally permitted.
Wow, okay. So no just showing up and hiking it solo anymore.
Correct. You need a registered guide. David Way's resources, fortunately, are incredibly helpful in navigating this new requirement. He offers detailed guidance on how to find and vet registered guides, ensuring you meet all legal requirements while still experiencing the trek your way. #2. Where is the Poon Hill Trek? Pinpointing the location.
All right, let's truly pinpoint this adventure on the map for you, giving you a clearer sense of its place within the majestic Nepali landscape. So Poon Hill is gracefully nestled to the northeast of Pokhara, right? That lakeside city that's kind of the gateway to the Annapurnas.
That's right. Specifically, it lies within the north-central area of Nepal, strategically bordering two significant districts, Myagdi and Kataski. And that crucial base village, Gorapani, which becomes your home for a night before the sunrise ascent, is specifically situated in the Dhaulagiri region, part of the greater Annapurna Conservation Area.
Okay. And getting there from Pokhara, how long does that usually take?
The journey to reach the heart of the Poon Hill Trek from Pokhara typically spans about 3 to 4 days, depending on your individual pace and the specific itinerary you choose. However, it's not uncommon for some trekking companies and guides to offer extended itineraries, stretching to 6 or even 8 days.
6 or 8 days for Poon Hill. Why so long?
Well, it isn't just about adding filler. It often allows for a more relaxed pace, maybe incorporating extra time for sightseeing, cultural immersion in villages, or exploring charming detours that you might otherwise rush past. And while the Pokhara route serves as the standard and overwhelmingly popular starting point for this trek, it's worth noting that variations do exist. If you happen to already be undertaking other treks within the vast Annapurna National Park,
Like Annapurna Base Camp or Marty Himmel.
exactly, you might find opportunities to seamlessly link up with the Poon Hill Trail at various points, showcasing the remarkable interconnectedness of this trekking region.
Okay. Now, if you're picturing yourself stepping into some untouched, completely isolated corner of Nepal where you'll have the trails entirely to yourself, maybe adjust that expectation.
Yeah, you might need to adjust that slightly. The Poon Hill Trek is, by its very nature, incredibly well discovered, and in fact, holds the distinction of being one of Nepal's most popular trekking routes. So if absolute solitude is your primary goal, this might not be the trek that delivers it. It's often a lively, bustling route.
Right. And David Ways has a funny point about the term homestays, doesn't he?
He does. A touch of that practical humor he weaves in. Don't be swayed by trekking companies liberally using buzzwords like homestays to describe accommodations. All too often, these are simply traditional tea houses that have, quite cannily, rebranded themselves and, maybe unsurprisingly, upped their prices.
So it sounds authentic, but might just be a regular tea house with a higher price tag.
Often, yes. While they do offer a comfortable stay, they're rarely the intimate, truly local family experiences that the homestay label might conjure. The positive trade-off, however, is that the area boasts very good accommodation overall, especially compared to many other more remote treks.
That's fair. Good facilities, but maybe manage expectations on the homestay front.
Exactly. And that's a really important distinction for trekkers managing their expectations. For those who are genuinely seeking that more rural, deeply authentic community-style experience, nearby treks like Kopradanda and Mohardanda offer excellent, less trafficked alternatives that align more closely with that desire. But for a specific type of trekker, Poon Hill is truly ideal. It's perfect for first-time trekkers venturing into the Himalayas, for individuals with limited time who still want that iconic mountain experience.
Families, maybe.
Definitely. Families with small children looking for an accessible adventure, or for anyone simply seeking a more relaxing trek with reliable facilities and comforts. The scenery you'll encounter is wonderfully diverse and captivating. You'll pass through charming, lived-in villages, traverse lush farmlands, still worked by traditional methods, walk beneath the canopy of vibrant rhododendron forests, which are an absolute spectacle when they're in full bloom.
Oh, I bet. Reds and pinks everywhere.
Absolutely, painting the hillsides in fiery reds and soft pinks. And of course, you'll be treated to those absolutely spectacular panoramic mountain views that are the crowning glory of this region. It's an ideal choice for a short time frame, combining stunning natural beauty with surprisingly accessible infrastructure.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. We're going to dive into the core of the Poon Hill experience, cutting through any, over-exaggeration or maybe overly polished narratives you might encounter online. Our goal is to give you the honest, unvarnished facts about what you can truly expect from this celebrated trek. What are the undeniable realities and the surprising truths that David Ways illuminates?
Okay, let's truly unpack the specifics that define this trek. The trek's highest point, as we mentioned, is Poon Hill itself, standing proudly at 3,210 meters, or 10,531.5 feet. When you reach the summit, you'll find a viewing tower that adds an additional 20 feet if you're looking for that extra bit of elevation and an even more commanding view.
Stand on the tower to get really high.
Exactly. This, of course, is the exhilarating destination you'll aim for pre-dawn, after spending a comfortable night in Godapani, to witness those utterly breathtaking sunrise views. Your highest sleeping point along the entire trek will be Godapani village itself, nestled at a still impressive 2,874 meters, or 9,429 feet. And even the morning views directly from Godapani are often spectacular, offering a picturesque panorama of traditional tea houses in the foreground, beautifully framed by majestic snow-capped mountains in the distance. It's a view that invites quiet contemplation, even before you make that final ascent.
Nice. So even if you skip the early morning slog, you still get great views from the village.
You do. In terms of distance and the time you'll spend actually moving, the full Poon Hill Trek covers approximately 55 kilometers, which translates to about 34.9 miles. On average, most trekkers will accumulate over 35 hours of active trekking time throughout their journey. However, it's crucial to remember that these figures are averages.
Right, depends on your pace, side trips.
Exactly. Your personal distance and time spent walking will genuinely depend on your individual pace, how many fascinating side treks or detours you choose to explore, and how long you linger at various stopping points, soaking in the views or enjoying a warm cup of tea. Historically, this entire region holds a quiet yet significant past. It was once part of a vital, though not massively trafficked, trading route that connected the bustling city of Pokhara all the way to distant Tibet.
Pokhara to Tibet. Wow.
Yeah, and many of these early traders, as far back as the 17th century, chose not to continue their long journeys, but rather settled in this fertile region, transitioning into a life of farming. Poon Hill itself, despite its grand reputation, is quite literally just a large hill, but its unique geographical placement affords it unparalleled 360-degree panoramas of the magnificent Annapurna Mountains. And as for Gorapani's own history, as its name Horsewater suggests, it has always been a fundamental freshwater source, particularly crucial for the livestock and horse traders who traverse these challenging paths for centuries.
Fascinating background. What about wildlife? Do you see much? Yaks. Snow leopards.
Huh. Well, you won't be encountering anything quite as dramatic as a snow leopard or yak animals that simply don't inhabit this particular altitude or region, despite what some local folklore might playfully suggest about tigers that haven't been seen in decades. But the Poon Hill route offers its own delightful biodiversity. Bird and butterfly watching are quite popular. You're very likely to spot a variety of colorful birds, such as the distinctive white-capped river chats flitting gracefully near streams.
Okay, so more birds and butterflies than big mammals.
Definitely. And when the rhododendrons are in their glorious bloom, the air literally teems with an abundance of butterflies, creating a vibrant living tapestry of color that's truly mesmerizing. You will, however, very frequently encounter the unsung heroes of the trekking trails, the hardworking donkeys and mules.
Ah, yes, the supply carriers.
Exactly. These animals are crucial for transporting food and supplies to the remote tea houses along the route. It's important to give them the right-of-way when you hear the gentle jingle of their bells announcing their approach. Simply step aside and let them pass. And dotted across the verdant fields, or sometimes even ambling directly on the trekking paths, you'll certainly come across buffalo, a common and integral part of village life in this region. So while you won't be on a safari, the colorful birds and the working animals will undoubtedly add to the charm of your journey.
Good tip about the donkeys. Get out of the way.
Absolutely. And now, for those truly breathtaking mountain views, from the summit of Poon Hill, you can witness not just one, but two magnificent mountain ranges, the awe-inspiring Annapurna Range and the majestic Dhaulagiri Range. The sunrise view, in particular, is widely celebrated and considered quite unparalleled among short treks in Nepal. You'll be able to clearly see iconic peaks, such as Annapurna First.
Which is over 8,000 meters, right?
It is. Annapurna First, standing at a colossal 8,138 meters, 26,700 feet. The graceful Annapurna South, at 7,218 meters, 23,684 feet, along with the world's seventh highest mountain, Dhaulagiri, at a truly immense 8,167 meters, 26,794 feet. The sheer scale is difficult to comprehend until you see it. And as we've mentioned, even if you opt not to make the pre-dawn trek to the very summit, the view from Gorapani itself is also splendid. It offers a beautiful, more intimate composition of traditional village buildings nestled against the backdrop of those lavish snow-capped mountains. A view that invites contemplation and quiet appreciation.
Wow, okay, that's a fantastic, honest overview of what you can realistically expect. And David Way's guide really distills the core appeal of the Poon Hill Trek into several key highlights, almost like a set of promises it consistently delivers on. These aren't just features, they're the fundamental reasons this trek has become so beloved. That's a great way to put it.
First, it offers relatively easy access to truly spectacular Himalayan mountain views. This is a huge, game-changing advantage, meaning you don't need to be an extreme athlete or embark on a multi-week expedition to witness some of the world's most incredible peaks. You can experience the grandeur without the grueling demands.
Huge appeal right there.
Second, its short duration, just 3 to 5 days, makes it incredibly appealing. It's perfect for those with limited time in Nepal or who are perhaps new to trekking and want to test the waters without committing to a longer, more arduous journey.
Very practical.
Third, the accommodation options are genuinely excellent, far exceeding what you might expect on more remote or challenging routes. You'll find comfortable tea houses, some with private bathrooms and hot showers, offering a surprising level of comfort after a day on the trails.
Nice touch after walking all day.
Fourth, you'll discover diverse menus available at the tea houses. This isn't just basic rice and lentils, though you can get that too, I assume.
Oh yes, dal bhat is always available. But yeah, you'll find a wide array of choices, so your culinary experience will be far from monotonous, catering to various tastes and dietary needs.
Good news for picky eaters. Fifth, the trek winds through incredibly charming village trails, allowing you to immerse yourself in local life and witness traditional farming practices. And crucially, you'll encounter genuinely friendly locals along the way, whose warmth and hospitality add a wonderful, authentic cultural dimension to your journey.
That cultural aspect is really important.
And finally, its strategic location means it intersects seamlessly with other trekking routes. This offers incredible flexibility for those who might want to extend their adventure, perhaps linking Poon Hill with a more challenging or remote trek, making it a versatile starting point for broader Himalayan exploration. These highlights collectively paint a picture of a trek that is both grand in its views and, well, gentle in its demands.
Okay, arranging a Poon Hill Trek is, thankfully, relatively straightforward, primarily because of its enduring popularity and the well-established infrastructure that has grown around it. When it comes to planning your trip, you essentially have a few main avenues to explore, each with its own set of advantages and considerations. A general rule of thumb, one that David Weiss often emphasizes, is that booking your trek in person once you're actually in Nepal can often be significantly more cost-effective than trying to arrange everything online far in advance.
Cheaper to book there, that's interesting, but maybe less convenient.
Exactly, it's a trade-off. Online tours do offer a certain level of convenience and minimize the logistical complications once you arrive.
So let's carefully break down those arrangement methods for you, helping you decide which path aligns best with your travel style and budget. First, you have the option of online package treks. These are typically prearranged, coming with fixed itineraries that often stretch to 5 days or even longer, although we know it can be done faster.
Right, 3-4 days is feasible. The primary pros here are crystal clear. Everything is handled for you meticulously ahead of time. Minimal organization on your part, arrive in Nepal, trek is locked in, less stress, maybe.
Yeah, the downside.
Notable cons. These packages are invariably more expensive, often ranging from USD $450 to $800 plus per person. A significant drawback is that you typically won't know who your guide will be in advance, which can be a bit of a gamble, personality-wise. Larger, more commercial agencies might also try to bundle you with other trekkers, which isn't ideal if you prefer a more private experience.
And they often include unnecessary extras.
Yes, many online packages unnecessarily include transport from Kathmandu to Pokhara. This is something you can very easily and often more affordably arrange yourself once you're in Nepal, so it just inflates the price.
Okay, option 2. Package treks bought in Nepal. So you land, you spend a day or two sorting it out.
Exactly. If you have a couple of days to spare once you arrive in Nepal, and we highly recommend it, you can arrange a package trek yourself directly through a local company in Kathmandu or, more likely, Pokhara. These are generally much more affordable, typically costing around USD $350 to $400 for a 5-day trek, a much more budget-friendly choice.
And the big advantage is meeting the guide first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get the invaluable opportunity to meet your guide in person before the trek. Ask questions, gauge their personality, get a feel for their experience, builds a better connection, and of course, significantly cheaper. The cons involve dedicating at least a day or two in Nepal to negotiating with various trekking agents, which can be a bit of a process. Requires patience.
And you really need to check what's included, right? Like everything.
Crucially, if you opt for this route, you must meticulously verify all inclusions. Make absolutely sure you and the trekking company are on the same page about every single thing that's covered. Accommodation, permits, bus fees, meals, the lot. And remember that accommodation options can vary widely in comfort and amenities, directly impacting the price. Ask about private versus shared bathrooms, for instance.
Got it. Option 3. Hiring a local guide. Just the guide, no package.
Correct. This involves directly paying a daily rate to an independent, licensed guide, which typically ranges between USD $27 and $50 per day. The advantages here are compelling. It's generally the cheapest guided option, offering you much more trekking independence. You have the flexibility to choose where to stay each night and what to eat, tailoring the experience truly to your preferences rather than a fixed itinerary. This method also directly supports the local economy by putting money straight into the hands of the guides.
Seems like a great option. What's the catch?
The main downside is that while it's relatively easy to find a guide for Poon Hill, especially in Pokhara, you'll be handling your own accommodation and food payments. Hotel owners can sometimes inflate prices during peak season, so you might need to do a bit of walking around and bargaining yourself if you're on a tight budget. And here's that critical piece of information, the golden rule David Weiss mentions.
Ah, yes. Eat where you sleep.
Exactly. You must eat at the tea house where you stay for the night. It's deeply ingrained. Accommodation owners rely on the meal revenue. If you eat elsewhere, they might add supplemental charges. Just consider it fundamental trekking etiquette. And the absolute best place to hire a guide for Poon Hill is typically in Pokhara. Most reputable guides familiar with the area are based there, and it's your natural starting point.
Okay, that makes sense. And this naturally leads us to a crucial question that many prospective trekkers have. What about independent trekking? Can you still just go?
That's a critical point, and one that has seen a significant change very recently. As of March 2023, the Nepal Tourism Board has unequivocally mandated that all trekkers, regardless of whether they are solo or part of a group, must be accompanied by a licensed trekking guide from a registered trekking company.
So flat out, no more independent trekking on Poon Hill.
Correct. It's no longer legally permitted for the Poon Hill route, or indeed for any trek within Nepal that requires permits like these. While it was once popular, the current reality is that a licensed guide is now a mandatory requirement, for safety and local employment reasons primarily.
Right. So how do you find a good registered guide now?
Well, for anyone looking to navigate this new landscape, David Weiss' comprehensive article on how to find a trekking guide in Nepal is an excellent and incredibly practical resource. He also offers a dedicated Find a Nepal trekking guide service on his website. And of course, his extensive guidebooks provide personal recommendations for registered trekking agents for all budgets and preferences. These resources are invaluable, particularly given the new regulations, as they streamline the process of finding a reputable guide and ensuring you're fully compliant with Nepali law. Okay, let's talk about arguably one of the most important practicalities. The best time of year to embark on the Poon Hill Trek. One of Poon Hill's distinct and highly appealing advantages is its relatively low altitude, especially compared to some of Nepal's more demanding high alpine routes. This lower elevation means it remains accessible even during the colder winter months, a time when many higher treks might be completely closed off by heavy snowfall.
So you can do it in winter.
You can. While the traditional peak seasons offer the highest likelihood of those famously clear panoramic views, it's genuinely often possible to trek Poon Hill year-round. It's less about absolute closures and more about managing your expectations regarding visibility, temperature, and trail conditions for comfort.
Okay, so can you give us a rough idea of the seasons, like what's winter like versus spring?
Sure, let's walk through the general weather trends.
Yeah.
Understanding the key patterns is more useful than exact numbers. The winter months, roughly from December through February, are characterized by cooler temperatures, especially at night, often hovering between 2 to 5 degrees Celsius, 36-41 degrees RF at Gorapani.
Oh.
It is cold, yes. But this period also offers some of the most strikingly clear skies and very little rain, making it a viable and beautiful time to trek if you're well prepared for the chill. Pack layers. As spring arrives, typically from March to April, temperatures begin to rise to a much more comfortable range, often between 7 to 11 degrees Celsius, 45-52 degrees Everland. Rainfall remains moderate and generally manageable. And this is also the glorious season when the rhododendrons burst into spectacular bloom.
Ah, the flowers. That sounds like a great time.
It really is. Then things shift quite dramatically. From May to June, you enter the hot, humid pre-monsoon season. Temperatures rise further, maybe 13-15 Celsius, 55-59 degrees Fahrenheit. Valleys get lush and green, lots of flowers. But the air can feel heavy and uncomfortable. Humidity kicks in.
Snacky.
Yeah. A guide is highly recommended then to help navigate potential downpours and just the general conditions. Finally, June through mid-September marks Nepal's monsoon season, generally the least popular time for trekking. Temperatures are warmer, but heavy rainfall is the norm. Precipitation jumps dramatically, often exceeding 140 millimeters in July and August.
Wow, that's a lot of rain and clouds.
Almost guaranteed to obscure those magnificent mountain views. Plus, the risk of leeches on the trails increases significantly. So yeah, distinct patterns.
Okay, so summarizing the best times.
Right. Synthesizing that. Mid-September to November, extending into early December, this is widely considered Nepal's peak trekking season and absolutely the best time to go. Highest probability of clear skies, crisp air, spectacular, unobstructed mountain views. February to March and April. Second best time. Tail end of the dry season, good visibility, plus the wonderful added bonus of the rhododendrons blooming. A riot of color. December to January and February, also a good time. Skies typically crystal clear, sharp views but very cold. Rare for the trek to close, but you need proper cold weather gear. Still rewarding, May to June. Hot, humid pre-monsoon. Blooming flowers, lush greenery, but can be uncomfortable. Guide highly recommended for downpours. June to mid-September, monsoon season, least popular. Leeches, heavy rain, views almost always obscured, really only for dedicated adventurers prioritizing lush landscapes over mountain vistas.
Makes sense. Peak season for the best views, shoulder season for flowers, or crisp cold. Avoid monsoon unless you love rain and leeches. So given all those variables, especially the weather, it sounds like careful planning is key. And that brings us to a non-negotiable part of any trek in Nepal, the paperwork, permits.
Exactly. For the Poon Hill Trek, you'll need 2 main permits, plus a small local entrance ticket.
2 main ones. Okay.
First, there's the Annapurna Conservation Area Project, or ACIP permit. This costs NPR 3,000, which is roughly equivalent to about USD $25, though conversion rates fluctuate. This permit covers the entire vast Annapurna National Park. So once you have it, it's valid for 1 entry and 1 exit. But as long as you don't exit the conservation area, meaning you stay within its boundaries, you can use it for multiple treks within the park during the same trip, say Poon Hill and Mardi Himal. You can obtain this permit at the Tourist Information Center in either Pokhara or Kathmandu. Pokhara office is often quieter and much more convenient since that's where the trek starts.
And you need passport photos and stuff?
It usually takes about 30 minutes if you have your documents. Fill out a form, hand over your passport, 2 passport photos, and pay the NPR 3,000 in Nepali rupees. Cash. Be seriously warned. If you fail to get your ACIP permit before starting your trek, you will face a hefty double charge at the very first checkpoint. Don't risk it. You can also potentially get it online, maybe with a surcharge, or your registered trekking agency can obtain it for you, which is often the easiest way.
Okay, ACLP permit. What's the second one?
The second crucial permit is the Trekker Information Management System, or TIMS card. This comes with a flat fee of NPR 2,000, approximately USD $20. And remember, as of that March 2023 mandate, it must now be obtained through a registered trekking company. Your guide's agency handles this.
Right, the guide requirement again. And what's the TIMS card for?
It's primarily designed to enhance the safety and security of trekkers by registering their whereabouts at various checkpoints. Helps authorities track trekkers in emergencies. The fees also crucially contribute to a fund that provides guide and porter insurance, supports the local workers. Like the ACKB permit, the TIMS card can be used for all applicable treks until it receives an exit stamp. Once either permit has an exit stamp, it cannot be used again. Attempting to re-enter after an exit stamp will incur a significant NPR 6000 on-the-spot fine.
Ouch. Don't mess with the exit scams.
Definitely not.
Ah,
Finally, you'll need a small Poon Hill entrance ticket. This is a modest fee of NPR 100, purchased directly at the steps leading up to Poon Hill from Gorapani. Usually open between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. for sunrise or from a small counter at the top. This is a local initiative. Funds go directly towards maintaining the Poon Hill area viewing towers, steps, litter collection.
just a small local fee at the hill itself?
Yes. But there's a crucial warning here that David Weiss highlights. Bringing your own hot drinks or pre-pack hot meals to the very top of Poon Hill incurs a hefty NPR 2000 fine.
Really?
Why? There's a local tea shop at the summit, often opening pre-dawn, serving coffee, tea, and snacks. The fine encourages you to support them, rather than bringing your own thermos.
Ah, okay. Support the local business at the top. Good to know. Where do they check all these permits?
Several points. The very first checkpoint is in Birathanti, the first village after Nayapur. It's not official, more a local community center where they ask you to sign a visitor's book, maybe ask for an optional donation. Further on, just across a bridge in Birathanti, you'll encounter the first official TIMS card checkpoint. Your guide registers you. A little further still is the first ACAP checkpoint. Same procedures for both permits are repeated when you reach Gorapani. If you're traveling with a licensed guide, they will expertly handle all these permit checks for you. Makes it much smoother.
Okay, guide handles the checkpoints. That's helpful. All right, now that we've thoroughly sorted out all the essential paperwork, let's pivot to something more tangible. Gearing up. What essential equipment do you realistically need for the Poon Hill Trek? Are we talking heavy-duty mountaineering kit or something a bit more approachable?
That's a key distinction and part of Poon Hill's appeal. The good news is no specialized mountaineering equipment whatsoever is necessary. Underscores its accessibility. The rest of your gear choices will largely depend on the specific time of year you plan to go, as temperatures and conditions vary. However, some items are universally necessary. You'll definitely need a sturdy pair of boots or shoes designed for off-road walking comfort, and ankle support are paramount.
Good broken-in boots, not brand new ones.
Absolutely. A good wind cheater-style jacket is indispensable, as temperatures can drop quickly. Long-sleeve shirts for sun protection and warmth. Versatile trekking pants, maybe shorts for warmer sections, plenty of warm socks. A pair of lightweight rubber sandals or flip-flops can also be incredibly useful for evenings at the tea houses. Let your feet breathe. And, crucially, a reliable water bottle and a personal water purification system are absolute necessities. Cannot be overlooked.
Right, water. You mentioned bottled water isn't really available?
Largely unavailable, yes. It's a deliberate and admirable initiative by a local NGO and the community to significantly reduce plastic waste in the mountains, a huge environmental challenge. Unfortunately, while some tea houses may offer filtered water, the local filters installed aren't always consistently well maintained. Can be a health concern. Therefore, David Weiss and we strongly advise trekkers to bring their own reliable water purification system.
What kind? Boiling? Filters?
Several good options. Boiling water is always safe, though it takes time and you need a heat-resistant bottle. A Sterapin uses UV light. Or a Life Straw offers portable filtration. But it's important to note that life straws, for instance, typically don't protect against viruses or all types of bacteria, understand their limitations. A pair of good quality, heat-resistant water bottles are essential for carrying your purified water, especially if you opt for boiling.
Okay, purification is key. What about trekking poles?
Not strictly essential for every trekker, but they can be tremendously helpful, particularly if you have any pre-existing knee issues, or if you're trekking during the monsoon season when trails can become surprisingly slippery and muddy. They provide crucial stability and can reduce strain on your joints, especially on descents. The good news is they are readily and very cheaply available for purchase in both Kathmandu and Pokhara. Don't need to bring them from home. For a truly comprehensive list, David Weiss' dedicated article on trekking equipment from Nepal provides extensive specifics.
Okay, let's unpack this a little deeper. We've repeatedly called the Poon Hill Trek easy, but how challenging is it really? What does that mean for someone who might not be a regular seasoned hiker? Is it a casual stroll or something that still requires a bit of grit?
That's a truly excellent question because easy is, as always, relative to an individual's personal fitness level and their usual lifestyle. While Poon Hill is genuinely classified as easy to moderate, and the vast majority of people successfully complete it, it's absolutely crucial to be prepared for plenty of ascents and, perhaps surprisingly for some, a significant number of stone steps. This is definitely not a flat walk in the park. It requires sustained effort.
Steps. Lots of steps.
Lots of steps.
Okay.
Let's break down the difficulty day by day for its typical 5-day trek, walking you through what to expect. Day 1, Pokhara to Nayapul by transport, then trek to Tikidunga Hill. It's your gentle introduction. Undulating tracks, well-trodden trails. Ease into the rhythm. About 1.5 hours bus, 4 to 5 hours walking. Altitude 1,488 meters.
Okay, easing in.
Day 2 is where it shows its colors.
Yeah.
Generally considered tougher. You'll face a famously steep ascent to Uliri, quite taxing on the legs and lungs. Those stone steps, they're relentless. That's often where people realize easy doesn't mean effortless.
The Uliri steps, I've heard about those.
Exactly. But that challenge then gives way to about 8 kilometers of a more gentle, sustained incline, leading you gracefully into Gorapani, your highest sleeping point at 2,875 meters. A solid 6 to 7 hours of trekking that day.
Long day. Then day 3 is Poon Hill itself.
Day 3 begins with that thrilling pre-dawn trek up to Poon Hill. The ascent, while relatively short, involves many, many stone steps, frequently described as quite tiring, especially given the early hour. After sunrise, you typically descend for breakfast either back in Gorapani or continue onward to Tadapani. This can be a long day, covering approximately 20 kilometers, taking anywhere from 5 to 7+ hours.
Wow, 20 kilometers, including the climb.
Oh, it can be. Day 4, Tadapani to the picturesque village of Gondruk, offers a decidedly easier and often more relaxing experience. About 7 kilometers in around 5 hours brings you to 1,990 meters. Lush valleys, farmlands, beautiful views.
A bit of a breather.
Exactly. And day 5, the final leg, takes you from Gondruk back down to Siali, then on to Nayapul, get your transport back to Pokhara. Generally an easy descent, about 19-20 kilometer trekking, then 4.5 hours transport. Gentle conclusion.
Okay, so the steps and the early mornings are the main challenges, maybe.
For many people not accustomed to trekking, yes. Not necessarily altitude or technical terrain, but those early mornings for sunrise views. Nepali guides are almost religious of getting people up early for this, and for good reason. Breakfast on summit day is usually after the climb and sunrise, and those stone paving slabs and steps, pervasive in villages, picturesque, but surprisingly hard on the knees, especially descending. Slippery in rain. Good footwear is essential. Despite these challenges, it maintains its reputation as one of Nepal's best short treks, accessible to a wide range of fitness levels, ages, abilities. Even in off-season, excluding heavy monsoon, it's relatively easy to accomplish.
So given that breakdown, what does this all mean for your personal fitness level? Do you need to be intensely training like you're preparing for a marathon, or is a reasonable level of general activity sufficient?
Not at all marathon ready, no. But a certain baseline of general fitness is definitely required. While Poon Hill isn't strenuous, especially on the 5-day itinerary, always advisable to consult your doctor for a checkup before you go. Good chance to discuss altitude sickness too, even though it's low altitude here, just be aware.
And the daily walking hours.
For a comfortable 5-day trek, generally 4 to 6 hours of active trekking each day, opt for the condensed 4-day, be prepared for at least one 8-hour day, and the intense 3-day version. Could be up to 10 hours of nonstop walking some days. Guides usually break longer days into morning and afternoon stints with breaks. But the continuous walking, those steps, you do need some physical readiness and endurance. Even if the altitude isn't high, coming from sea level, you might feel some strain. So know the symptoms of altitude sickness, just in case.
Okay, good advice. Moving on to sustenance after a long day of walking, what's the food like? Basic rations or more satisfying?
You'll be pleasantly surprised. Because it's so popular, the tea houses along Poon Hill have really adapted their menus for international tourists. You'll certainly find traditional Nepali trekking food. Dal bhat is a must-try for energy. But you can also discover a surprisingly diverse range of options.
Like what?
Expect to find dishes like sizzling chicken, freshly prepared fish, even steaks sometimes. Vegetarian options are incredibly plentiful and creatively prepared everywhere. Everyone has ample choice. While it might not be gourmet standard like Kathmandu or Pokhara restaurants, it's consistently good, fresh, often locally sourced from surrounding farmlands. Adds to the charm.
So beyond dal bhat.
Oh yeah. Popular choices include comforting pasta dishes, fluffy pancakes for breakfast, savory chow mein, delicious momos, Nepal dumplings, even chop suey.
Sounds pretty good. What about prices?
To give you an idea, a hearty dal bhat with meat might range from 500 to 1,000 Nepali rupees. Vegetarian version maybe 400, 600. Tea or coffee, 50, 100 rupees. Beer could be 600 plus rupees. Alcohol gets pricier with altitude due to transport. Soft drinks maybe 120, 150. And the water reminder. Bottled water largely unavailable. Filtered water available for 50, 70 rupees per liter. Boiled water safest option usually around 50 rupees per liter. And remember the golden rule.
Eat where you sleep. Don't annoy the tea house owner.
Exactly. You absolutely must eat in the restaurant or the tea house where you stay. They rely on meal revenue. It's fundamental trekking tradition and supports your hosts.
Got it. And after all that trekking and delicious food, what about a good night's rest? Tell us about the accommodation. What kind of comfort can trekkers truly expect?
Accommodation along the Gorapani Poon Hill Trek is genuinely among the very best you'll find on any trekking route in Nepal. Another major factor in its popularity. You'll encounter a wide and evolving range of options. Basic side. Charming, traditional tea houses, simple rooms, shared bathrooms, communal dining area with a stove. But as it's gained popularity, many more comfortable hotels have sprung up. These often boast private attached bathrooms, reliable Wi-Fi, even hot showers, a true luxury after a long day.
Hot showers, that's a bonus.
Definitely. So you do have choices, from rustic, authentic to surprising modern conveniences. However, a word of caution from David Way's experience. In recent years, some larger, more commercial hotels have begun operating. You'll typically notice them by their significantly higher prices. Similarly, be discerning about places advertised as homestays or community homestays. While the concept sounds wonderfully authentic, many are now commercially run or pushed by tour companies rather than genuine family operations.
So the real deal family places probably don't advertise much.
Typically not online or with glossy brochures, no. Authentic family-run tea houses still absolutely exist, offering a more genuine cultural exchange. If you're traveling with a licensed guide, it's always an excellent idea to have a frank discussion about your accommodation expectations beforehand. They can adjust pricing and ensure you get the type of lodging you're looking for. Some examples of real, well-regarded tea houses mentioned in the source include the Fishtail Lodge, Snowview, Annapurna Guest House, and Greenview, among others.
Okay, good to discuss expectations with the guide. Now, for the bottom line, the question on everyone's mind. How much does the Gorapani Poon Hill Trek actually cost? Breaking down the finances is often tricky.
It's definitely a crucial question, and the total cost is subject to many factors, depending on your choices. Let's first cover the mandatory permits, needed regardless. In TR permit, NPR 3000, TIMS card, NPR 2000, approx USD $20, obtained via your trekking agent. Poon Hill entrance, NPR 100.
Okay, those are fixed costs. What about the trek itself?
Right, overall budget options, generally from most expensive to least expensive for guided options. Online package tours, most expensive, often USD $500, $600 plus per person for 5 days, usually includes guide, accommodation, permits, meals, but often excludes drinking water. David Ways feels these often don't offer the best value, and ignore packages trying to stretch it to 6+ days, usually unnecessary. In-country package tours. Book once you're in Nepal, a 5-day trek can cost significantly less, typically USD $350, $400. Includes guide, permits, meals, accommodation. Better value, plus you meet the guide first. Guide-only services. Cheapest guided option, most flexible. Pay a daily rate to your licensed guide, USD $27.50 per day. Higher rate usually means more experience, English proficiency. You manage your own accommodation meal payments. Porter fees. If you hire a porter, roughly USD $20 per day. Carries up to 20 kilograms. Can be shared by a group.
Can you give us like a ballpark total cost for a typical 5-day trek booked in country?
Okay, using David Way's calculations as a transparent example. Permits, ACK, teams, Poon Hill, might total around 41.7 USD. Guide for 5 days, maybe average $135 USD. Accommodation, 5 nights, comfy private room, maybe around $25 USD total, varies by place season. Meals, 5 days, 3x day, maybe $75 USD. Water, 4L day, filtered boiled, maybe $14 USD. Private transport, Pokhara Trailhead, round trip, shared, maybe $15 USD per person. This brings an example total for a well-rounded 5-day Poon Hill trek to roughly $305 USD. Shows how relatively affordable it can be, especially ranged in country.
$305, that's surprisingly reasonable.
But there are extras, right?
Oh yes, don't forget important extras. Budget a 10% tip for your guide's standard appreciation, plus personal expenses. Soft drinks, chocolate, sweets, extra hot drinks, these add up. While a basic tea house room shared bath can be as low as 300 rupees night, private bathrooms might be 800 rupees. Commercial hotels upwards of $20 USD, especially for mountain views. And finally, crucially, comprehensive travel insurance that explicitly covers trekking up to Poon Hill's altitude. Non-negotiable safety net. Insurance, right, good point. Finally, the million-dollar question for many travelers dreaming of that pristine, solitary mountain experience. Is the Gorapani Poon Hill Trek crowded? What's the honest truth?
That is a very popular and perfectly valid concern. The honest answer, which David Ways addresses directly, is that Poon Hill is indeed a very popular route. It's simply not the type of place you go to experience true alone time or complete solitude unless you specifically opt to visit during the absolute off-season, like the height of monsoon, when views are unlikely.
Okay, so expect company. What about Poon Hill itself at sunrise? Packed.
It can be substantial, yes. Really a luck of the draw. Some days quieter, but during peak season, it's common for a significant number of people to arrive simultaneously, all vying for photo spots. David Ways notes large Indian, Chinese, and Nepali groups tend to be the noisiest, arriving with excitement. And selfie stick-holding Instagrammers can, perhaps predictably, linger by the viewing tower and signposts.
Huh, the Instagram effect. So how do you find peace up there?
Practical advice is simple. Just move a little away from the main viewing tower to a quieter spot on the hill. The panoramic view is virtually the same. You can still enjoy a wonderfully peaceful sunrise without being jostled. Alternatively, wait them out. On a clear day, the magnificent mountain views are visible all day long. Unless you must have the sunrise light, it may be much quieter after 8 a.m., once the pre-dawn rush has descended for breakfast.
Good tips. Move away or go later. It's a trade-off then. Good views and facilities mean more people.
Exactly. Poon Hill offers fantastic, accessible views and better facilities than many short treks. With those benefits comes the possibility of sharing the experience. Be prepared for company. Know there are ways to find serenity. And what's fascinating here is David Ways also recommends specific alternatives for those truly seeking solitude. He suggests the Mohar Danda trek, similar stunning views, far fewer people, more community-focused.
Mohar Danda.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or, if you're looking for something a bit more challenging with different scenery, the Kopra Danda trek could be a better fit. #tag7. Itineraries in future explorations. There is a fairly standard, well-established route for the Poon Hill Trek, which contributes to its accessibility and ease of planning. While various trekking companies might offer slightly different stopovers, perhaps optimizing for their preferred tea houses or group pacing, the core route remains remarkably consistent. Gorapani and Poon Hill are always central. Any variations in overnight stops are usually minimal, often depending on bookings, agency relationships, or slight mileage preferences. If you're doing Poon Hill as a single, standalone trek, it typically starts and ends in Pokhara. Makes logistics straightforward.
But you could link it to other treks.
Absolutely. If you're linking it with grander routes, like Marty Himmel or the Annapurna circuit, you might join the Poon Hill Trail at different points, showcasing its versatility.
Okay. Let's outline that typical 5-day itinerary again, just to nail it down. Day by day, distance, altitude.
Sure, it gives a clear picture. Day 1, Pokhara to Nepal, transport, trek to Tikadungahila. Approx 20-kilometer bus trek, reach 1,488 meters gentle intro. Day 2, Tikadungahila to Gorapani. Approx 13 kilometers trek, 6 to 7 hours. Ascent to 2,875 meters, highest sleep. Includes the steep Uluria steps. Day 3, Gorapani to Poon Hill, pre-dawn, 3,210 meters, then trek to Tadapani. Approx 20 kilometers, 5-7 plus Hers, the big view day. Day 4, Tadapani to Gandruk, approx 7 kilometers, 5 hours. Descend to 1,990 meters. Easier day, beautiful village. Day 5, Gandruk to Siali to Nayapul, trek, then Jeepas to Pokhara, approx 19-20 kilometer trek, 4 to 4.5 hours transport, and around 1,885 meters, gradual descent.
That's really clear. And you mentioned shorter options, 4 days, even 3.
Yeah, quite feasible if you're tight on time. Popular option. Take transport on day 4 from Gandruk directly to Nayapul Pokhara, skipping the final trek leg. There are popular 4-day itineraries, usually compressing mileage, longer trekking hours some days. Maybe reach Uluri day 1, Gandruk day 3. For the most intense 3-day day-to-night version, Jeep to Gandruk day 1, trek immediately to Tadapani, night 1. Day 2, trek Tadapani to Gorapani, night 2. Day 3, Poon Hill sunrise, then trek all the way down to Heil to catch a Jeep back.
Wow, that 3-day sounds exhausting.
It is tiring. Demands higher fitness, endurance, daily trekking, potentially up to 10 hours, for those really time-constrained who still want the experience.
Makes sense. And as a truly fascinating alternative, you mentioned David Ways highlights the Moldai Trek. What's the appeal there?
Right. He explains it offers the same stunning panoramic views as Poon Hill, but with significantly fewer tourists on the trail. What's more, the tea houses on the Moldai Trek retain a much more traditional, rustic, authentic feel. Reminiscent of Poon Hill maybe 20 years ago, before its massive popularity boom. Plus, it's also a slightly shorter trek overall, a compelling blend of beauty and relative solitude.
Moldai Trek. Sounds very appealing for avoiding crowds but getting the views.
It truly sounds like an excellent option. And we'll definitely be diving into the Moldai Trek in a future session, so keep an ear out for that one. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Well, that was an incredibly comprehensive exploration of the Poon Hill Trek. The immense value and clarity of David Way's insights truly shine through, particularly his unbiased and honest approach to providing travel guidance. His detailed, on-the-ground research brings an invaluable level of clarity and practicality.
Absolutely. We really encourage all of you to explore David Ways' broader body of work. His website, The Longest Way Home Nepal Travel website, is a remarkable treasure trove of information, and his extensive collection of guidebooks for Nepal offers unparalleled depth and accuracy. His work is well regarded for its detailed first-hand accounts, often from a very practical, independent perspective, an excellent resource for anyone planning a trip to Nepal. He stresses his guides are 100% independent, unbiased, and honest, and that he pays his own way.
That independence is key, isn't it? So, as you reflect on the Gorpani Poon Hill Trek, what new perspective does understanding a popular route like this give you on that delicate balance between accessibility and authenticity in travel? How do these kinds of explorations spark your own curiosity? What unexpected nuggets of knowledge will you seek out in your next adventure, whether it's scaling a hill or simply exploring a new corner of your local park? Thank you for joining us for this expedition into the heart of Nepal.